happened to Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka has an insurmountable debt burden. By June 2024, Sri Lanka's debt stood at $100.65 billion USD. 57.49 billion of it is local debt. The country's foreign debt is 37.54 billion. In addition to the sum of debts obtained by several state institutions that were guaranteed by the state is $5.6 billion. There is no increase in the foreign debt for the moment because the debt restructuring process is going on. Since the debt restructuring process is still not complete, the exact amount of debt that Sri Lanka will have to pay cannot be calculated. However, Sri Lanka will have to settle all of these debts in full. 33% of the total debt taken by the country has been obtained through international sovereign bonds. That adds up to a total of $14.73 billion. In addition to that, 17% of the country's debt is from non-Paris Club member countries, while 11% of the debt is from Paris Club member states. 17% of Sri Lanka's debt is from Asian Development Bank. 12% of debt had been taken from the World Bank. Therefore, out of the total foreign debt of Sri Lanka, 39% has been obtained as international commercial loans, 22% from multinational institutions and 28% as bilateral loans. The repayment of commercial and bilateral loans had been suspended for close to 2 years. The total of 5.7 billion rupees in installments that had accrued during this time period will also have to be settled in the future. The biggest challenge the country will have to face will be the repayment of the 3.9 billion USD loan installments during the next year. However, if the debt restructuring process is disregarded, the amount of loan installments that will have to be paid during the next 10 years is 21 billion USD. This is the only debt owed to foreign countries. Many countries in the world obtain loans from the development of infrastructure facilities to face an economic crisis and for social welfare. Many countries in the world obtain loans for the development of infrastructure facilities to face an economic crisis and for social welfare. However, what was the majority of loans obtained by Sri Lanka used for? The money was used to bridge the gap in the budget and repayment of existing loans. Attention has been focused on obtaining local debt. The local debt was at 5,664 billion rupees in 2017, had risen to 6,071 billion rupees by 2018. In 2019, this value increased to 6,830 billion rupees. By 2020, the amount of local debt drastically increased to 9,065 billion rupees. In 2021, this figure rose to 11,099 billion rupees. Then it hit 15,034 billion rupees in 2022 and reached 17,052 billion rupees in 2023. By June 2024, Sri Lanka's local debt stood at 17,555 billion rupees. There is one thing that must be highlighted here. The local debt was at 6,830 billion rupees in 2018. 6 years later, it had increased threefold. At a time when the local debt became unbearable, and when accepted financial institutions were not funding failed projects in the country, certain leaders obtained these loans from various other institutions and put that burden on the general public. The amount paid as interest for loans by the public in 2015 was 425 billion. In 2016, this rose to 611 billion. In 2017, it rose to 725 billion rupees. In 2018, 820 billion rupees. In 2019, 901 billion, and in 2020, it rose to 886 billion rupees. The general public of Sri Lanka are experiencing the adverse effects of these decisions that had been made. Many generations in Sri Lanka and several generations to come have already been debtors. Would the country have fallen to this position today if the loans that were taken were utilized for productive projects?
The power of the people.